Hi, my name is Katie Loiko, and this is my presentation on my transfer experience from Boston to Florida. So I started out in Massachusetts. I grew up in Massachusetts, and I went to school down there, or up there, sorry, before I came down to Florida. But originally, I wanted to go just somewhere warm. So in high school, I applied to all schools in California and a few down south. Unfortunately, my grades were not quite good enough to go to California, so I enrolled in a school called UT Dallas, which is in Dallas in Texas, because they had the neuroscience major, which ended up being a push for me to get to FSU, but that's later on. But so going to UT Dallas, by the time that I had gone to orientation down there, I kind of really had realized that that was not the right place for me, and I also had a lot of anxiety and other issues just trying to be away from home at that time. So I decided staying close to home was going to be the best thing. So over the summer before I started my freshman year, which was summer 2019, I applied to UMass Boston, which is only about 45 minutes from my house. And so I started going to school there. I got a dorm, they had only built the dorms 2 years before I moved in. So before that, it was only a commuter school. So there was not any real campus life at all. And that really was the a big attraction for what I was looking for in schools when I started applying for transferring. Is I was looking for schools that were involved with students and that wanted them to have a good college experience. Um, so in the fall of my freshman year in 2019, I started applying to different schools. I had basically just chose schools that were uh, somewhere warmer than Massachusetts at least. Places that had neuroscience, they had to have neuroscience as a major for undergraduate. Um, and also anything with the campus life. Like, campus life was really important for me at that time. So I got accepted for the spring of 2020, which was the spring of my freshman year. But um, FSU started so soon after New Year's, and UMass Boston ended so close to Christmas that I just didn't feel that I had the time over that vacation to move everything down, like, essentially across the country from Massachusetts to Florida. It ended up being a 22-hour drive. So I decided to push it off. I took some time off and I just worked at a boat club. There's a picture over here of the boats that you basically just clean and stuff. But I did that for a while. And then in the spring of 2021, I did part time classes at FSU. I had to reapply because I had waited so long. But I finally got to start taking online classes. I did them on Zoom. And I was really excited. I was really excited to finally get down here this fall and take some classes in person. But so my motivation to transfer, I never intended to go to school close to home. That was never my goal. I love Boston. It's really expensive and cold, and seasons are just not really for me. I get really tough seasonal depression, so I like being down here where it's warmer and the days are longer. Warmth is a big part for me. I really just, I don't like the cold. Despite loving skiing and everything else, I just really, warm, warm is good. Um, Also, neuroscience. My goal has always been to do neuroscience since I started high school. I had no interest in doing biology or anything else for undergraduate school because I don't want to spend 4 years studying on something that it's not going to be my main focus and something that I don't care about. So I had to be somewhere that had neuroscience. And FSU has two neuroscience majors. That was really attractive to me, and they're both really well developed. And a lot of other schools just don't have either they don't have neuroscience as a major, or they only have it for graduate students, or they do have it for a major and it's not well developed. The other complicating issue is that in Boston, the only schools that offer neuroscience are Ivy Leagues. So I'm not smart. I don't have the grades to get into an Ivy League. So that kind of made it so that I couldn't be close to home anyway if I wanted to do neuroscience. So that kind of worked out for me. But FSU was perfect for me because it was a big school. I didn't want a small school. I didn't want to feel like I was in high school. They had a big campus life and far from home with a neuroscience major. Challenges that I had, mostly COVID. COVID pushed me back a lot from being able to move down here and get a start on the college experience that I was looking for. But uh, also, I had some sick relatives at home, so I couldn't move down here. Or if I did move down here, then I wouldn't be able to really like ever go home and see my family. So, excuse me. So that would have been really tough. So I decided to keep waiting. But once I finally got down here, the main issue that I felt that I had as a transfer student was my transfer credits. I had a lot of credits that I had, just I felt like they were just floating around in space and time from AP credits, from doing dual enrollment, and also from having courses at UMass Boston. So my problem, my dilemma, was transfer credits. FSU, when I first started enrolling in classes, wanted to push me back about a semester or two in credits. I was not really gonna accept that, considering that you pay for credits and you put the work in to accomplish those. So I wanted to fight for that. Uh, some classes were accepted as electives that I took at other schools, and so I had limited core classes covered, and I also had limited accomplishments towards my major. That still continues to be an issue, and I continue to fight it with the same skills that I have, but I'll get there in a second. But I have a lot of elective credits. Is a big issue that I found, is that a lot of credits that I were taken, a lot of credits that I had taken were pushed over, not to necessarily as much as core credits, but just elective credits, which was also an issue because at UMass Boston I tried to take more electives rather than core credits because I had a fear that that would happen. So I kind of just have a lot of elective credits. Continuing into this, I also had AP credits. I took 8 AP classes in high school and a dual enrollment through Syracuse. Um, and this is a bit frustrating not getting some of these accepted earlier on because you do pay for the testing, and obviously the testing is a lot cheaper than paying for a college course, but it's still money. It's still worth fighting for. In my relation to this topic to other transfer students is that I feel that every transfer student that I've talked to has had an issue with this. Especially there are a lot of kids at FSU from TCC, kids that went from other places to TCC and then to FSU had problems going from like multiple schools transferring around trying to get their credits covered, and also students that just went from TCC to FSU, I feel are a bit more set up because that's a more established throughway that is generally a path that people know going into, but people definitely still do have problems with this. But coming from out of state, not a lot of classes at my school were very well known, so I had to kind of push for those classes to be reevaluated. And so that kind of comes into how to fix this, but the uniqueness of this problem is that it's unique to transfer students because transfer students are the only ones moving around credits, other than APs and stuff, which happens right when you're a freshman. But you're still moving around APs and stuff even as a junior or even a senior. So it can relate to non-transfer students with the AP credits. But finding a solution, you need to exhaust your resources. Mine is always to go to my advisor first, which I know is like an easy way out of it, but your advisor generally do have all the solutions, and if they don't have the solutions, they always know what people to send you to that will have the solutions. And so my advisor sent me to the dean of students, who asked me for specific information about the courses that I was looking to get reevaluated. Basically the courses that I didn't get credit for that I felt like I should. And so once I had heard from them, I reached out to my old school, UMass Boston, for the registrar, and I requested the necessary documentation and sent it to the FSU dean, or the dean of students. And then the review began. So for the solution, when you're accepted to school, the college courses from your old school are analyzed, and they're basically matched up with existing courses at FSU to receive credits. The course and the syllabus are considered as well as your final grades. Basically similar to APs, so if you don't receive up to a specific grade, then that course will not be counted. I did not agree with my transfer report of the credits that I received, so I decided to dispute some of the excuse me, some of the credits. So I emailed the dean of students with the courses that I was looking for credit, and I had to find the syllabus as well as course descriptions from those classes, so I had to reach out to my other schools. Some of them I could find just posted on websites and through my old, we didn't use Canvas, we used a website called Blackboard. Excuse me, but on Blackboard, they had that information on there for me to use and to send to the dean. And some of the decisions are based on old courses and not new ones, and so that's really important to note. Is that um, like these courses, that whether they tell you if you get credit or not, are based off of old courses that schools used to have back in time, and they don't update them based on the schools. And so it's really important just to keep an eye on that and be aware and just fight for whatever you think is important. My specific solution was for calculus. This was a main stressor for me. I chose to take a more challenging calculus at my old school because I was hoping that it would be accepted here, and I didn't want to have to take calculus a second time. I really struggle with math. And so FSU did not originally choose to accept my calculus credit, and this was really frustrating to me. So I decided to dispute this. Um, I I emailed the dean of students with the information from UMass Boston from the course description and the syllabus. And when they got back to me, they said that the course was covered and that it was a new course from my school that they had changed the syllabus from previously. And so um, it was good that I put that effort in, because then I saved myself from taking 4 college credits that I didn't need to do, and also paying for more things that I didn't need to do when I could be taking other more important classes that I haven't already done. So this is a financial relief as well as like an effort relief. More examples for this are AP credits. When you apply as a transfer, your AP scores, you have to request for them to be sent through College Board, just like regular students applying for regular school, non-transfers. Um, Before you do this, which is really helpful, FSU has a list of APs that are accepted and at what scores. And so you can follow along with this. You can even plan, basically, if you want to go to FSU or what classes you want to take before you go to FSU based on what credits that you think you can accomplish or transfer over to FSU. Because what they have posted there is exactly what they will accept. They're not flexible on those, so it's easy just to know going into it. FSU actually took more credits than UMass Boston, which I knew going into it which also was helpful, because I chose not to take biology at UMass Boston because I would have to take biology there that would be covered here, and so I saved myself effort by putting that off. And that also saved me money as well, not paying for more classes that I don't need to take. So continued efforts. I've continued to keep up with this throughout the semester. I have taken so many difficult classes this semester. If I had to take calculus on top of it all, I would be struggling so much more. I also have reached out for other courses to be evaluated throughout the semester based on trying to set my classes up for the spring and just having a better understanding of everything going on here. My request was denied, but they explained to me why it was, and why my credit for an environmental class didn't cover for a diversity. And now I don't have to wonder, like, why did I pay for this? Why did I do this? Now I understand everything. So it really is just helpful to me in every way to go through this process. And it makes me understand that I am taking the right classes. And I hope that this is helpful for everybody else. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.